Lampard in Norwich talks, Germany hit 9, Arsenal want Juve attacker, and a transfer roundup all coming up in the next few minutes as I'm your host Matt Froelich. You are the OneFootballers and this is the Daily News. So first off, and fresh from Steven Gerrard joining the Premier League again yesterday at Aston Villa, it looks like Frank Lampard is also going to be doing the same. I say rejoining, he never technically left because he didn't have a job since leaving Chelsea at the beginning of the year. But now it looks as though he could be back with Norwich, and this is a very, very interesting signing should it go ahead. But we all know what happened yesterday. I was talking about Gerrard, and then just as we put the Daily News out, he officially joined Villa. The same thing might happen with Lampard, but if he is to join the Canaries, I get the feeling that it may be with one eye on next season. With Lampard going there, look, he's inexperienced. He had a very good season in the Championship with Derby, getting them to the playoff final where they lost to Aston Villa. He then got the Chelsea job, an FA Cup final and a top 4 finish followed, and then obviously he got sacked after a rather disappointing run. But when it comes to Norwich, I'm not quite sure they've got the tools to get out of relegation scrap, despite the fact there's still 27 games left to play. If Lampard puts all the right things in place, the right strategy, the right teams, the right tactics, and it looks like Norwich are playing some good football, but they just don't have the quality to get all the points they need, it's probably a deal that's going to see Lampard look forward to the Championship next season with the hope that he can get them to return to the Premier League and then take them on from there. It's very difficult to come in mid-season, even if we're not quite at the midway point just yet. I get the feeling that Lampard actually do a pretty good job at Norwich, and it seems like the perfect way for him to re-enter management in a job that doesn't have too much pressure on it, certainly not towards the top of the table. And the same thing kind of goes for Steven Gerrard as well, as he takes over the job, like I mentioned, at Aston Villa. Next up then, add to some World Cup qualifying action last night where Germany hit a ridiculous 9 goals. Yes, they were playing Liechtenstein, and yes, they did have a man sent off within the first 10 minutes for what can only be described as some sort of MMA/WWE boot to the face of Leon Goretzka. Anyway, it was going to be difficult enough as it is facing Germany, who'd already qualified for Qatar 2022, but down to 10 men it was going to be even more difficult, and yeah, they went on to hit a ridiculous 9 goals. This means that new manager Hansi Flick has broken a German record by winning his first 6 games in charge, and like I mentioned, they'll be heading to the World Cup next winter, not summer, next winter with a lot of confidence. There were some brilliant performances throughout the team, and if you haven't seen Ridler Baku's goal just yet, make sure you check it out. Astonishing. Such a good goal. Anyway, there were loads more goals in the rest of the World Cup qualifiers as well, as Croatia and Russia are going to do battle on Sunday to see who finishes top and gets an automatic qualifying spot in their qualifying group. Last night, Russia hit 6 and Croatia went one better by hitting 7 in a 7-1 victory. Elsewhere, and Pepe was doing Pepe things by getting sent off for a second yellow card, which was an elbow, but I guess that's not really news. Portugal drew 0-0 with Republic of Ireland. So apparently Manchester City have slapped a £46 million price tag on Raheem Sterling. And if he's going to leave in January, there have been rumours that he could be moving to Barcelona, but that does not look very likely. Apparently Xavi, the new man in charge of Barcelona, has been given a paltry €10 million to spend in the January transfer window unless he sells quite a few players first. So this could open up Raheem Sterling to a loan deal, and Arsenal are also very, very interested, but it doesn't look like he'll be high up on Raheem Sterling's list of options to go. He has said before that he wants to play abroad and he wants a change of scenery, and I don't quite think that change of scenery is going from a title challenger in England to a challenger for the Europa League, potentially the top 4, depending on how Arsenal's season goes. So Arsenal instead are looking at Dejan Kulusevski. Now, the Juventus winger only signed from Parma in 2020 and has got a contract until 2025. So, if Arsenal aren't willing to spend the money on the likes of Dusan Vlahovic, who they've been linked with recently, it looks as though they may not be willing to spend big bucks on Kulusevski. But maybe, just maybe, they could get him on a cut price deal because it looks like he's not really fitting in at Juve. He's been reduced to substitute appearances and cup games, and well, in this 4-4-2 system that Max Allegri is playing, he's not quite fitting in. Like we saw Kulusevski at his best when he was playing on the right or the left or even central in a 4-3-3. He doesn't really suit as a right or left midfielder or as a centre forward, and that's where Juventus are really struggling this season. They're kind of crowbarring players in there, and they've only scored 16 in 12 Serie A games, and Kulusevski he hasn't been given the game time to hit top form, and it doesn't really look like he will. If he manages to join this Arsenal side, he'll be one hell of a player. He already is, but he'll get the game time, he'll join a young, aggressive attacking squad, and it looks as though finally the deal to sign Nicola Pepe is going to be put down as a bit of a waste of money. He just has not produced consistently in his years at Arsenal, but who knows, maybe a little bit of competition for places could ignite something in him. But if Kulusevski does join, can you imagine that attacking line? Imagine the likes of, I don't know, him, Martin Odegaard and Emil Smith-Rowe behind Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. It's a pretty dangerous attack, and like I mentioned earlier, could help Arsenal break into the top 4 after quite a few seasons out of the Champions League. As for Raheem Sterling, in my opinion, I think he's going to end up staying at Manchester City until the end of the season at least. Next up then, a quick round up of the news and transfer news that you might have missed, and Sevilla are interested in taking Manchester United Edinson Cavani. Real Madrid want Leicester City midfielder Wilfred Ndidi. FC Toronto of the MLS are interested in taking Napoli's Lorenzo Insigne. And lastly but not least, bad news for Jurgen Klopp and Liverpool fans as Sadio Mane hobbled out of Senegal's World Cup qualifier last night after just 28 minutes with an injury. Finally then, we come to Friday Feels. This is where you guys leave your Football League predictions down in the comment section below. And of course, loads of international football this weekend with World Cup qualifiers happening all over the world. So first up, one from the European section. I'm going to go for Italy to beat Switzerland 3-1. From the South American section, a massive game between Uruguay and Argentina, and I think Argentina will take it 2-1. And lastly but not least, from the African qualifying, I think South Africa are going to go to Ghana and pull off a 3-2 victory in a massive game at the top of their qualifying group. That's all from me then. Check back tomorrow for loads more OneFootball content. Have a great weekend, and I will see you guys later.